Hello, everybody. So today I'm gonna show you guys how I would. I have two computers here, one that's running Linux and one that's a brand new one, so it's running Windows. And I want to actually clone this first one into this, like the second one, the same as the first one, because I have 90 of them to do. So for this task, I'm going to use like Clonezilla. So Clonezilla is an open source that I think would work well for us. So I'd show you that like this computer is running Windows. So I'm going to just turn that one off. I'm also going to turn my Linux computer off. Leave, shut down. All right. So what we're going to do is we actually have to put our jump drive with Clonezilla. If you don't have one of these, there's tons of videos that will tell you how to create one. You download the ISO image from like a Clonezilla website, and then you use like a software like Rufus to actually burn into the jump drive. Yeah, I'm just like recording this video because nobody has done like a complete like a clone. People usually just like back up to their drive, but that doesn't really mean anything to me because that's not what I wanted to do. So I have to change the boot sequence because right now it's booting from the hard drive here on my Linux computer. So on this computer, I'm actually holding F2 because it's an Asus computer. If you do like, so they all have like a different ways of getting the boot mode. Like I think HP would be F9, Dell would be Escape, depending on, so that's something that you gotta figure out just so you change the boot mode. And this is how I change the, oops, what did I do here? Sorry, guys. I have to do this. Okay, so let's stop sharing. And then let's share again. Okay. Now let me put this computer further away. All right, so let's go back. So I just selected to boot from my SanDisk like a jump drive. So right now I'm gonna go back to boot. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go from the hard drive on the laptop to a jump stick, and then from the jump stick into the other hard drive. The deal is, if you're going from like, so like this hard drive here on this computer is a 62 gig hard drive, and this is a 64. So when going from a smaller one to a larger one, or going from a larger one to a smaller one, the setting that you select is different. So it would like work the clone. And I mean, I'm trying to clone on the like a Linux system, which I believe might be more complex than cloning a Windows system, just because you have several partitions, but I don't know, I might be wrong. So, but this is just the one that I have to do. But at least I would try to do the same thing for all of them. So right now we're gonna go, so this first step, it will be going from a smaller hard drive, that's the one on the Asus, to a larger hard drive, that's the one on my 64 gig jump drive. All right. So right now, so I think like the first thing that it showed me was Clonezilla Live. So you can choose like a Clonezilla or Clonezilla Live to RAM. So it just chose the first one. So that was English, and this is just like the default keyboard layout. So we're gonna say start Clonezilla. Then I'm gonna do device to device, because whatever is written on that on the hard drive in here, I want to write exactly the same on this guy. So it's gonna be device to device. I'm gonna go into the expert mode. I'm gonna do disk to local disk. Let me plug this guy in, just so I don't forget about it. So I'm gonna go disk to local disk. That's the first one. And then right now it says there that I have 2 disks connected. So right now, the first one that you have to select is the source. Make sure you're selecting the right one. Otherwise, you're gonna end up wiping out the one that you want to clone to the other one. You're gonna do the opposite. So the first one that you have to select is the source. So it's the one that you have stuff. So right now I want to clone the one that's inside of the computer. So that's the MMC BLK0 62.6 gig. Enter. So that's the first one. All right. So now the target, that's the one that I'm going to clone to, is the 64 gig like Lexer jump drive. So on this one, I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to just go all the way down to OK. I'm going to select skip checking, repairing source and file system. So that's the first option, enter. And I'm going to do use the partition table from the source disk, because I'm going from a smaller one to a bigger one. If you have to do the opposite, so like you see what I did for the second one, and then you do it first, and then, you know what I mean? So, and then choose what happens when it's all done. So when it's all done, I want to make sure that I see it. So I'm going to ask the software to actually ask me when it's done. All right, so it's going to ask you like a couple extra questions. So press enter to continue. Now it's going to do yes or no. Yes. Yes again. All right, so now it's going to start working. So I believe we're going to stay in this. Like it's going to take some 10-15 minutes. I'm going to start timing it just so I can tell you when we come back, like how long it took. So clock start. All right. So see you guys in a little bit. All right, so we are back here 45 minutes later, and we got to the end of the cloning. So up here, see like that's actually telling you possible missing firmware, like as if it was an error. But like right before getting to this, there was like a yellow script here that was saying that he was able to access C root. In other words, like it was successful. So I believe that this would work fine. So if it doesn't go through, it would stop, give you an error, and then it would tell you what went wrong, like it couldn't access whatever, you know. But hopefully it's gonna work. It took 45 minutes because I'm using like a jump drive. When I used a hard drive like this, it was much faster. It was kind of like I think we did like 20 minutes, but I don't know why my adapter or my hard drive stopped working. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do is actually hit enter. So now I'm gonna choose power off. All right. So he's gonna turn off this computer. Good. All right. So I'm gonna take Clonezilla out of here. I'm gonna leave it there. I gotta take my jump drive with the clone information from that computer. So this was my first Linux computer, right? So let me switch to this computer, which is gonna be the new one. So this one actually was running Windows. So I'm gonna plug this guy in. I'm gonna have to change the boot order just so I can boot from my jump drive. I want to make sure that, see, like I can see the storage here, so I can see the connected. I'm gonna select my jump drive right there. So right now I'm gonna boot from the jump drive. Why? I want to make sure that the cloning worked, because if you don't test after every step that you take, you don't know which step didn't go well. All right. So we're gonna try to boot the Ubuntu here. We are booting from a USB stick, and it's not the newest one. So I believe it's gonna be kind of like laggy, you know, it's gonna be very slow. But I just want to make sure that it's gonna work. All right. And then after we go through this step, then I'm gonna have the Clonezilla in, and then I'm gonna Clonezilla that guy back into the laptop. All right. I'm sorry that's gonna take a while. I'm gonna try to fast forward this part too, because right now it might check like all the file systems and everything. All right. So I believe it worked. Otherwise, wouldn't boot anything. I got to several different problems, but like they all would give me like a command line. They would never boot all the way to the system. I believe it's gonna be very slow. See what I mean when I say slow? It's very slow. So that's why we don't run complete systems straight from USB stick. But yeah, maybe a faster one, maybe a USB-C will do better, but not this old Lexer that I have here. Yeah, yeah, that's the part that I regret. We got a test, I gotta show you, but let's go, let's go. Move on, move on, move on, move on, move on, let's go. 2317. More than protecting. Come on, Ubuntu. All right, we are back. So right now I'm gonna stick my Clonezilla in there on the other port. Now I'm gonna change the boot sequence. So we're gonna boot from the Clonezilla. All right, so I have several options here. There's Ubuntu Lexer, which is this one. There's the Lexer, which is this one, and there's the SanDisk, which is the one that I have the Clonezilla there. All right, F10, save, and let's go. I hate this autofocus, don't you? I hate the autofocus on the camera. So right now, again, so Clonezilla Live, the VGA one, you actually have to leave the jump stick in. The second one, which is Clonezilla Live to RAM, it actually copies Clonezilla to the RAM of the computer, and then you run straight from the computer. So after you click there and you start running, and you start Clonezilla itself, then you can pull out the jump drive. So I'm gonna do the second one just so you see what it is. So it looks a little bit different just because it shows all the scripting of moving stuff from the see, moving stuff from the jump drive to the RAM memory. But I wanted to see what it looks like. It should be fairly fast. Like this is the RTW 821CE is actually the wireless card. All right, so that's just regular Clonezilla, right? So first thing is English. You can choose something other than English if you speak a different language. So keyboard layout, that's the same. So now start Clonezilla. So right now, supposedly I can pull my Clonezilla stick out because I actually told that I wanted to actually move everything from here to the RAM. So that's what we did. Cool. So we're gonna device to device because we're gonna go from two devices that are connected to the same computer. All right. So I'm gonna go to expert mode again. I'm gonna go local disk to local disk, which is that first one. All right, so now I have two options again. So one is the Lexer, which is a jump drive, who carries the clone information from the other computer. So now that's my source to right now. So I'm gonna do the second one, SDA 64. And again, we're going right now from a larger drive to a smaller drive. So the steps are a little bit different. So if you ever try to do from a larger drive to a smaller drive, this is what you got to do. All right. So the target is my MMC BLK0, which is the one that's inside of the computer. So in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the -R, which says resize the file system to fit partition size. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to add the dash ICDS, which is the skip checking. All right. Two differences. Dash R, we're going to take out, and dash ICDS, we're going to add. Enter. We're again going to skip the checking. And we're going to use the same partition table from the source disk. And choose, because I want to see when it stops. All right, enter to continue. All right, yes, I want to do it. Yes, I want to do it. All right, so first one took us 45 minutes. So I hope this one is faster. Because right now we're going to be extracting from the USB stick and writing into the hard drive of the computer. All right. All right. All right, so it seems we are at the end. So let's hit enter. And we're going to type power off. And hopefully it's going to work. Yes. It fails a bunch of stuff. Pull this guy out because I don't need this anymore. Maybe I'm going to need this for the next one. All right, so fingers crossed. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Whoa. See, much faster than the booting from the jump stick. All right, so that's how it looks. 2, 3, 4. So pretty much everything that I had there is going to be here now. And no gimmicks, no nothing. Yeah, so remember, if you're going from a hard drive that's a smaller one to a larger one, you go into expert mode and you don't change anything. If you're going to go from a larger one to a smaller one, then you go into expert mode, and then in the expert mode, you have to take out the -R and put the other guy in there, -IC, whatever, and then you just do the same as that one. Cool. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I still have to put it together. because my computer quit on me in the middle. But that's fine. All right, thank you. See you in the next one.